Welcome back to another episode of the Open Mic Podcast with me, your host, Tom Hirst, brought to you by Richland Source and Newsroom After Hours. Today, we have the man himself, Zac, who runs Richland Source Newsroom After Hours, in fact. Zac?
I help out a little bit.
A little bit?
Yeah.
Just a little bit there?
Yeah.
Just part-time, right?
Just part-time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, whenever you can take your time away from the busy news sourcing of Richland, that is, right?
Yeah, it's definitely not my main role here at Richland Source, but I mean, it's probably the most fun thing.
I was going to say, sadly, right?
What I do. Yeah. Yeah, it's just been fun to see the event evolve over the last couple years.
Yeah.
And we can kind of get into that. But I think one of the biggest things is we started doing genre nights, I think in 2018 or 19. Because if we want to get into history of Newsroom After Hours, which a lot of you listeners probably know, but a lot of people have been coming since the beginning, but we started back in, I think 2016 at Temple Court at our old office.
Yeah, okay,
That was before my time here, but
it's been that long.
Yeah.
Holy crap. Yeah, because I remember going to the first one. It was in the basement of Temple Court, which was sick because historically it was real special because we used to go to have shows there when I was in high school.
Oh, really? Okay.
In that basement there. And there were shows that happened there because there was a coffee shop that was above there back in that day. And they started having shows in the basement, and I played there a few times, and then, it's probably 8 years later or something like that, they started in Richland Source. You guys started doing Newsroom After Hours in the basement, and it was really, really cool. But anyway, that's where it started.
Yeah, so shout out to Dylan Carr and Jay Allred, our publisher. I know this in the early years, they kind of wanted to do this kind of modeled after NPR's Tiny Desk. Yeah. And it's just a really fun idea, and I think it really started out with a couple 12 packs and one band playing a few songs, and us amateurs recording it and doing the best we can. But it's just fun to see how it's evolved. I started in Richland Source in 2018.
Okay.
And Noah Jones shout out to Noah, was running it at the time, and he had a big part in the evolution of Newsroom After Hours. So we started doing genre nights, and just kind of expanding the amount of bands that played. It was 2, 3, and then if you look at this year's lineup, we've got 4 or 5 bands playing on a night.
Yeah, it's pretty stacked actually.
Yeah.
So you started with branching out to specific genre nights. You do take me through the whole thought process behind one, because you do it in seasons, right? It's not something you guys do all year long.
Yep, we do it spring through fall. Usually we end with a Halloween show.
Okay. And you guys kind of have segmented it into, like you said, genre nights. Each month you do a different genre and try and book around that, right?
Loosely. Yeah. I mean,
I
think the first year, it was just kind of an idea. We're let's, we always kind of get together and what are we going to do new for After Hours this year? So we were let's try genre nights, and it's kind of worked. But, I could see that. I'm also kind of interested in doing some mixed genre stuff too, and kind of getting back to that. But this year it's mostly the May show is kind of rock metal, and then hip hop is kind of its own thing. It's kind of become its own thing. Last year was probably our best hip hop night we've had. We had 5 rappers and packed the place out. There's probably 100 people here. That was the kickoff to the show season last year. Okay. So that's in June, and then Friday, September 15th, we're taking a 2-month hiatus this year. Yeah. July is always a tough month. People are on vacation. Incarceration's happening. Yeah. And then August this year is Mansfield Music Fest. Yeah. And then we traditionally do the third Friday of each month. So August, Mansfield Music Fest, right in the middle of the month there. So we sponsor that and support that. Love going to that. Right. So we didn't want to conflict there.
That makes sense.
So September, kind of, alt indie. And then in October, we're trying something new. In a couple ways. We're going to do the October show on a Saturday this year.
Oh, okay.
So that'll be different. Yeah. the October show has essentially become a Halloween rager. We've done a punk show, and we do them down in like our basement garage here at Richland Source, and
which is really fun.
Yeah, we've done punk, hip hop. We did metal last year, and this year we're doing EDM.
Okay,
so it's going to be more so of a party.
I was going to say that's kind of like rave night at the Richland Source
rave
garage.
Night at the Source. I wanted to start it at like midnight and go to like 3 a.m., but I was told that wasn't the best idea.
Oh, boo!
We still might start that one a little later. But
I mean, so many people show up a little later anyway, most of the time, especially for Halloween shows. There's so many so much bar hopping that goes on. Everybody kind of just filters in eventually. So,
I was talking to a dude about doing like a late night rave show, and the thing is, it's like it sounds good on paper, but then when midnight rolls around and it just people get tired.
That's true.
So it's
that's true.
It always sounds fun, but and then it's like people leaving at 3 a.m. and stuff. There's maybe some liability issues there. I don't know,
fair.
But we thought we'll start it later, and it'll be a great party. But
that's the hard part is you guys being such a presence business-wise in the city, doing things that are a little risque in that way, I guess you could say, is a little difficult legally.
Yeah, so I mean, with this, the Newsroom After Hours has always been a house party.
Yeah.
We've cleared it with our lawyers and like our higher ups and all that, but we don't exchange any money. It's not, so we're not selling alcohol, we're not selling food, we're not selling admission. So it is a house party. It's like if you're inviting people, the building obviously is compliant and all that. So that's one of our, if you try to tip us at the bar, we'll say no. We don't want any of your money. We want you to come and just have a good time.
Yeah. Which is really cool. It's something that I don't know, you want to see more of with businesses, just opening up their shop and like having people by to just do something that isn't actually, obviously, like with all things business wise, there's always the branding and marketing side of bringing people around for that in the future, but like without that, like shoving that down people's faces and just having them come by to have a good time, it's a nice refreshing mindset for the community, I feel like.
And our thing at Richland Source is, we were started free news, no paywall and all that, so this kind of fits in. Really, I mean, our sponsors too get a ton of credit. I mean, without Docs and Potent Studios and Phoenix and just kind of the businesses that have supported this over the years, it'd be a lot harder to do. I mean, we would have to go buy food or buy beer, and Lee has really come through with that's what I meant to say earlier about the evolution of it. I feel like last year was Lee McIntosh Potent Studios. Shout out Lee.
We love you, Lee.
Yes, we do. He's really turned the space into something else.
Dude, that man has done something that, like I've said it before, you didn't know that you needed that type of a light show until he did it. And it's just like, this is incredible. This changes everything.
Yeah, and the first time was last February 2022 when the Afronauts did their release show here at IdeaWorks.
Such a good show.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
And Lee was just like,
wow, that was a year ago already?
Yeah.
Wow.
He was just like I don't know. It was like he was just like, I'm gonna bring in some lights, and I'm like, oh my god, what have you done? This has to be the standard now.
You dickhead.
Yeah,
this has to be it doesn't work without it now.
Yeah, it's hard to go back. I mean, I think it'd still be fun. I mean, there's been shows that lights are a part of it. We could do with probably less, but it's totally, I mean,
especially in the space that you guys have, there's just so much space, which is a good thing until it's not a good thing. But having the lights make it a good thing and
totally
take
changes
away
the atmosphere.
Yeah, really, really does. It really does. I mean, Yeah, it was, again, the thing that I didn't know was missing until it was there, and I was like, oh yeah, that's what was missing.
And, I mean, so like it started like, I mean, if you are a Tiny Desk fan, or if I don't really keep up with that anymore, but there was a time where I thought, I was kind of watching those and following along with that. And we wanted it to feel, I think in the early days, like you're coming into a newsroom, right? But it's totally been transformed to like now it feels kind of like a concert space. So, but it still kind of feels like an office. Like if you turn the lights up and everything, and you're walking in and there's cubicles and but I just think, and here at IdeaWorks, there's a lot of space. We've got couches out. If you've never been, we try to make it as welcoming as possible. And that's, we want, no matter what your identity is, who you are, like, we want you to come here. Well, so we want people to feel comfortable here. That's one of our core missions. And so we try to make it as welcoming as possible.
Yeah. I think it's really fascinating, because I was just, as you're talking, I was just thinking, that's something, I don't know. I mean, I'm sure obviously Mansfield isn't anything like new. We're not doing anything new, but at the same time, I feel like a staple that I remember ever since I was younger in the music scene is mixed genre shows. It's just kind of always been a thing, because we're not super big, but there's a lot of really good bands that I want to see play alongside of other bands, and it's just always kind of happened. And I was kind of thinking of the similarities between, like you said, you turn on the lights, there's cubicles, it's an office, but you turn down the lights, and have Lee's set up, it's a show, and it's a mixed space type thing for mixed events, and it's like, it's really interesting how that really just kind of falls into suit with the idea and concept of mixed genre shows, just how Mansfield has always operated in general. It's kind of like we got this space, what can we do with it? And somebody's willing to have shows there, what can we do with it? Can we make it a show? Can we do a show here? Yeah, sure, why not? Like, have whatever
pizza
band.
Shop, why not?
Yeah, right, exactly. Like, there's a lot of cities and stuff that do that type of thing, but I think Mansfield has done that in more of a wider variety consistently for a long time. I mean, it was always churches when I was in high school. There was the youth centers and churches that everybody was having shows at, and then that kind of morphed into businesses picking up that ball and running with it, and it's been, like I said, it's just really cool, and I feel like it's very on brand for Mansfield to have you guys, instead of just focusing on the Tiny Desk model, but morph it into actually a show model with the Tiny Desk Foundation.
Yeah, that's kind of what we wanted to. We want to try something new every year. This year I wanted to do a country music night. But some things fell through, but we're definitely looking at that for next year. Right.
I feel like that genre's growing so much too. Like that and EDM, I feel like are the two genres. Well, the country hip hop, that genre has morphed into something and turned into something that I didn't expect to be as huge as it is. Right. But like, I feel like those
country metal hip hop.
Yeah. There's actually a band called Lakeview. He was a guitarist from a band called Those Who Fear You we used to play with a long time ago. And him and a country guy got together, and they made a country metal, like progressive metal country band, and it pop whatever. And like, I wanted to not like it because it sounds super corny on its surface. Like, I was like, this is the corniest thing ever. Got like, dude, what are you doing? But it's sick and it's catchy. So anyway, so I think a country night would be really cool to see.
I do too. And like, I guess the idea with genre nights is like, with local bands, it's always like, people that go to local shows, which there's a core audience that does and supports that. And we want that audience to come here to After Hours, but we also want to bring in new people and introduce new people to these bands. So I think one of the thoughts around genres is like, rock, I like metal, I like hip hop, I like country, I like alt indie music. So it's maybe like a hook to try to get people in. And I don't know how well that's worked. I think our attendance has been better the last couple years. I think just doing it every year helps that.
Yeah, that consistency.
And then, trying to get bigger bands, like we had a Columbus band last year, Confusions. We had Zach Fletcher from Moss in the Attic come down from Toledo.
Yeah.
So we're also kind of branching out a little bit. Young Lon, who is a rapper from Mansfield originally, but he's down in Columbus now. He's coming back to do a hometown show. So
Sick.
I'm really excited about that.
Yeah, that'll be real fun.
Yeah.
Dude. Yeah, so walk me through this year.
Okay.
You're doing, like I said, or like you said earlier, there's a lot more bands overall on the days, or most of them. What's kind of your thought process for this season? Like, what were you hoping to accomplish with it, and where are you guys? What were your guys' overall goals with it?
Well, the goals were kind of. I wanted to try a couple new genres this year. So we had like EDM, country, and we've been also talking about doing like a. If anyone's listening, tell me how you feel about this. I want feedback all the time. Because I feel like these shows are the communities just as much as they are ours. So we wanted to do like a Broadway themed night and do like show tunes and get like some people from the Wren and like do like serve wine and have it bring in a grand piano and like
dude, that would be sick.
have a program and I know that's something way different, but we've Leah Gasoris and I have been talking about that for a couple years.
Get Leah and Ryan in there, and dude,
but it's like I always want to alt. The Girds, Birdcage, Chico's Brother, all these kind of like alt bands and obviously the metal bands and then the rappers. That's a majority of like the original local music. And so I always want to pay homage to those people and continuing to do those genres. So it's like, all right, branching out, we want to do a few new genres, but it's like, it's also
where do you find the time?
Where do we find the time?
Yeah, and how do you, who gets left out? Yeah,
so we kind of got to pick and choose a little bit. It's hard we don't have a metal night this year. This is probably the first year we, So the Friday, next Friday, May 12th show is Midling is probably the heaviest band we've got on the lineup this year, which is different for us. And so I'm sure we'll, bring back, there's never a shortage of metal bands. So, but I wanted to do more bands on fewer nights this year. So, but again, like if we would have, a country night would have worked out, we probably would have had five shows again. But this year we've got 4. We did 5 last year. And then in previous years, we would do 6 or 7. We would do them almost every month. From like April to October. But we do 1 or 2 bands a night. And so with more bands, like the shows are a little bit bigger lifts. And so I wanted to just spread it out a little bit. And over the summer, it's like July and August sometimes are rough months. Even June, sometimes people are on vacations. It's hard to get turnout. We've toyed around ideas of like doing a winter season. Which there's way less to do during the winter around here. So I think that would be interesting. But
especially for that show tunes idea. I feel like that would be a nice winter.
I feel like we could do a show. There's enough talent around here to do something every month. It's just a matter of bandwidth and helping out. If anyone wants to ever like volunteer, help out, I'm always down to do that. I mean, I could see us doing more shows. It's just a matter of like finding the time and not burning out the team for something that is totally we do because we like it. And we don't make any money off of these. Our sponsors pay us enough to cover like paying Potent Studios and paying Levi and Aaron Nicholas for sound. The bands play for free. That's something that when I kind of took over this, I was like, is that going to do they like that? Is it going to work out? I've, again, always open to feedback, but, we do an article, we do some video and multimedia, and we have professional sound engineers that, record and professionally mix the tracks and then give those back to the bands to stream. So whenever I've kind of explained to the bands that like, here's the trade that we offer, like everybody's been pretty cool about that. And it kind of keeps it like there's bands that I know I'm not going to get because I'm like, no, they're too big now.
Yeah.
And that's okay.
Yeah.
Because we want the like kids in high school that just formed a band, or we want like the people that like, I mean, most of these people have jobs, and like, if not everybody, like the band is just for fun. So we want that kind of like hometown, local, small energy. But then we also want to, like, if, you know, we want to, whatever path you're on, we want to try to help boost that. Yeah. Whether that's like giving you some more merch sales, or just helping get your name out there more. That's always the goal, is to try to, you know, we don't make any money. The bands don't really make any money from this. But the goal is to get them more publicity and introduce them to new fans. So this year, rock metal in May. That's Friday, May 12th. Cruise Campo, some high school kids, rock band, Middling. I've actually never seen Middling live. I'm sure you have. Yeah, but I'm really excited. I've seen them a lot on social, and I was like, I definitely want to get these guys.
Yeah, they're real weird if you're not used to those types of genres colliding, but dude, they're killing it. Those kids are really talented.
And I've just seen videos of them, and they, you know, they seem really talented and seem like good guys. So it's a genre that I didn't know was a genre until they started a band. But it was a genre that I was always like, man, this would be a really cool idea if somebody did this. And they apparently has been a thing for a long time, of course, but like, it's sick. I love it. So as someone that knows more about metal than I do, what is their niche genre?
It's technically called scrams.
Scrams.
Yeah. But it's just like pretty emo sounding music, like emo math rocky type stuff with screaming over it. The guitarist, he plays I think he plays an 8-string, but he does like a lot of tapping, like pretty stuff, without like any distortion on it or anything like that. But the vocalist screams over it, so it's like it's really a big juxtaposition as far as like intensity and but yeah, it's interesting. It's definitely worth checking out. Those kids they're doing it real well too.
Nice.
They're killing it.
Yeah, I'm really excited to see them and host them here. So everybody in this first show, it's making their After Hours debut. We try to get new bands year to year, but also bring back bands that have played before that have new stuff, or you know, like. But yeah, TCRXP. There's some again. Have never met them. I've only have never seen them live. I've only corresponded over social, but Tim is the guy's name that reached out to me. He was just like, hey, here's, you know, we're from Loudonville, 2-piece, we're a 3-piece now. Would love to play. And I'm about giving people just chances, and there's not like a high standard or level that you have to play original stuff. That's the gig. And at one point we were like local only, but now we're kind of branching that out. You know, we want to get bands from Ashland and Gallion and Loudonville and even like Columbus and Cleveland when we can. So it'll be Cruise Campo, they're starting, and then TCRXP, and then Middling will play, and then The Touch will close us out.
Nice.
And you know about The Touch.
If you don't, then
you don't will. Come find out.
You should. Everybody should.
Yeah. So they've The Touch, they've played After Hours, I think twice. Maybe once, but it's always been in the basement. They did our Halloween show, I don't know, 3 or 4 years ago. With Gutter Cats, and I think Pool Boy played that show too. That was one of my favorites.
That was a really good show. Lily and Gutter Cats spilled all of that fake blood everywhere.
Yes. That was great.
Oh my gosh, that was wild.
So yeah, that'll be, and you know, there's some from the higher ups here. There's a little bit of nervous energy about doing like a metal show up in the office. We usually do those down in the basement, so don't break anything. This one would be in trouble. Yeah,
those are. It's all pretty tame nowadays.
That's what I said.
It's only when you get the people from outside of town coming in mixing, because it's a lot more tame than it used to be. So
there's some like rivalry energy, or
no, it's just different styles of mosh. I guess, without being nerdy and weird, I guess. I don't know. Just different styles.
I feel like Middling is the only band you're gonna really.
It's
mosh
a lot more.
To here.
It's a lot more. Mansfield locals are a lot more
respectful.
tame style of moshing than for like heavier metal hardcore bands. Yeah.
Okay.
As far as like, yeah, it's kind of lame to get. I don't know. Never mind. Just it'll be good. I don't think there's anything to worry about.
Yeah, and we want you to move around. We want you to come have fun and party. Like, right? We're giving away free beer. We don't want you to, we want you to come and feel welcome and comfortable and have fun and act like you're going to a show. But at the same time, like, it is free. It's an office. Like, it's, you have to be respectful of the space. Mm-hmm. And it's awesome because we've been doing these and we've never had anything stolen. We've never had anything broken, to my knowledge.
That's cool. That rules.
Someone threw up last year during Under Substances set in the basement, and we I was dressed up as Sabretooth and my partner Wolverine. We had to mop up vomit in our costumes during Under Substance.
Nice.
But that just made it more hardcore.
Yeah. That comes with the territory.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, it's amazing. Like, everybody's regardless of the genre, like, people are very respectful and they have fun. Like, you have fun, but you're also respectful. Hasn't been any fights, knock on wood, all this, but like, no fights, no things broken, nothing stolen. It's been like good. Our crowds are always awesome.
Yeah. Good.
So you want me to go through the
why
the
not?
Whole season?
Yeah. At least take us through.
So May 12th, come out to that show. We'll have an article by the time this podcast is published. We'll have an article on Richland Source. Our business reporter Grace McCormick interviewed these 4 bands and did a really good story. I was just reading it before this podcast, so excited to release that. So that'll be fun. It's the kickoff. Hope to see a good crowd there to start the season. I'm excited. And then June is hip hop. Leak, Young Leak. I don't know what he's going by now. I've seen Leak and Young Leak, but Malik Hess is his name.
Nice.
He's I think he lives in Lexington, but I found out about him through The Cause did like this like hip hop battle. I don't know if it was like a battle, but it was a hip hop showcase. That's what it was at Belcher's.
Yeah, that sampler type thing they did.
You were there.
Yep. Yeah.
It was a couple years ago, and he was one of the rappers there. Okay. And I was like, wow. And I'm always, when I go to shows, I'm always like writing down in my notes in my phone, like, don't forget about this band.
Yeah.
So he was really great. Semple, Kench, those are 2 guys that I just saw Kench perform at a show recently. It was awesome, but I've just kind of listened to their stuff on Spotify and everything, and they're really good. They're local guys.
They're the ones that had the billboards.
Yeah,
up,
Semple,
right?
I think. Yeah, maybe Kench too, but so both will be making their Newsroom After Hours debuts, so excited about those guys. And then New Era Cam,
nice.
Will be playing. You guys are probably familiar with him from Sad Hour, and he's got some solo stuff out now that's really good. Yeah. So this will be the first time he's playing under his solo project.
Nice. That'll be sick. I'm excited to see that.
Yeah. And then Young Lon, who I, again, I've never met or seen. We've just corresponded over social media. He's like, well, how much is the pay? And I was like, well, here's how it works. And he was just like, cool, sounds dope. I'm down to do it. So
awesome.
Yeah, the hip hop night's fun. We bring the subs in, and last year it always goes really quick. It seems like so that's one of the things this year. I want to maybe like slow down the pace a little bit. Sometimes it's like, it's like that balance of like, I don't want people to leave because After Hours has always been like, it's supposed to be like kind of the pregame to your Friday night. Yeah. Like, it's not that we don't want people here till 1 a.m. or midnight. We're not a bar, and we don't have that much beer. It does go fairly fast. Right. And only the Halloween shows do we go and make more beer runs. But, so it's like that balance of like, I don't want it to just fly by, but I don't want to, to drag either. So there's kind of just that balance.
When that's the tricky part with hip hop is there's no real set up teardown. It's a dude with those tracks and a mic typically, or somebody who's DJing for him, but you can preset that up, you plug and play, you know.
Right.
It's like
right.
You don't have to put up a drum set.
Last year we had a DJ. 3 of the rappers last year were kind of in the same like label or group or whatever, and you know, a guy's like, I know all their songs, like I know these guys, and so that was kind of cool.
Nice.
So I kind of need to talk to these guys this year, because I think live DJ with the hip hop, instead of them just playing a track like from plugging in their phone, and it adds a whole new, it's really a totally different vibe.
It really does. Yeah.
It sounds better. And it's just
right.
And they can, you know, the DJ kind of MCs in between and play stuff, which is fun too.
Yeah. Maybe see if DJ Jack can do it.
Yeah, I guess I want to talk to the rappers and see if, like, you know, they've got someone that they want. I mean, if each one of them brings a different person to DJ their sets, I'd be fine with that. Or if there's like someone that they trust to do all of them. Like it's kind of hard because they're, you know, 5 different groups, and but that's something we'll kind of work on. Once we get this May show out of the way, we'll turn our attention to June and figure that out.
That'll be a good idea. That'll be nice.
So then, we're off in July and August, and then we'll come back Friday, September 15th with Chico's brother and the Foster Kids. Chico's brother, Aurelio's project, has played After Hours before. Actually, I think he did like the first season. He might have even done the first show.
Yep, I'm pretty sure he did. I remember him playing down there. So And then there was this like electronica band that he played with. Their name is Village Druids.
Village Druids. Yep. They played in 2018 or 19,
something like
I think.
That. Yeah.
But the Foster Kids, really, they're great. Definitely wanted to get them this year. Yeah. And so they'll be playing together, and they'll be kicking off that night. GDM is he's a newer artist. I don't think a lot of people are familiar. Yeah. Gabe Deemer. Hopefully I'm saying his last name right. But it seems like a great guy, and I listened to his stuff, and it was awesome, and he's going to be a perfect fit for this night. Yeah. And then Mike Dasher, who a lot of people know. I think he's out of town now. He's living in D.C., but I actually hit him up to play last year, and I think he was like having a kid, and so the scheduling and all that. And but I hit him up again, and he's like, I'm out of town, but I'll definitely come back for this show, which was an honor. Yeah, which was really cool, like that he wanted to come back and play this. So
he's been so involved with the 409 renditions and stuff, and it's like I forget that he's not actually locally here, because I see him on so much local Instagram posts and everywhere.
He's very, very talented. I love his stuff. Haven't seen him live, so I'm really excited for that.
I'm excited for that show too. That's gonna be good.
And then you may be familiar with Bird's Cage,
just a little bit.
You know, local legends. So what I'm hearing now is the Girds and Bird's Cage pretty much have the same band members.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, because I think Ethan and Nick Sell are in the band now as well. I heard they just played their first full show a couple weeks ago.
The Bird's Cage?
Yeah, Bird's Cage, full band.
Yeah, so I'll probably split those up. Like I kind of initially thought like they would be the last 2 to play, but I might split them up. We got time to figure that out. Right. But I'm excited for them. Bird's Cage has played After Hours, I think, in 2018. Yeah. They played last, and the Girds kind of a, you know, newer, not new guys, but a new group, new project, and they're awesome. I've seen them play a couple times, so I love their sound. So I'm excited to have them play. They were one of the first bands I hit up for this year.
Nice. That's going to be a really good show.
I think so too. Yeah, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 that night. So
that's going to be interesting.
5 for hip hop night, so it'll be bigger. But But like I said, hip hop night always kind of seems to go a little bit quicker. But the September show, should be a big one. Yeah.
That's going to be a good tester. See how those types of shows go for your Newsroom After Hours.
Yeah. We haven't had we had 5 rappers play last year. That was the biggest like set list we've had of bands on a single night. So I'm interested to see. It's like people kind of come and go for these shows, which
wander over
expected.
To the bars, come back.
Which is great. don't wander over to the bars when there's free beer to drink. But when that's gone,
it makes a little more sense.
But it always does suck sometimes when we run out of beer, like before the headliner or before the last band, and people are like, it happens sometimes. But we try to pace the beer throughout the night. Maybe have some like a reserve stash that we bring out,
But the secret stash.
Yeah,
Jay Allred's secret stash.
right. Yeah, so that'll be cool, and I'm excited about October this year. The EDM, that's something totally different.
Me too.
It is going to be more of a party. There's going to be more hits. Get Weird, kind of centered it around them.
I'm not familiar with them. The other two I am. But.
So Get Weird plays out at Snow Trails sometimes. I think one of their year-end parties, I was out there this past year, and they played some awesome hits and mixes. It was really good. Made me really excited for this show.
Awesome.
And then Tez Reflect, Levi, and Spooky Boy Andy. They'll be great. I'm sure there's going to be some original mixes in there, but
Tez Reflects, Levi's original stuff's really sick.
Yeah,
I really
I've listened to a few songs.
Yeah,
I like it too.
I love how watching him play is really fun. He gets so focused and professional about it, but he kills it, man. He's really good at what he does.
Yeah, he's doing all our sound this year.
Oh, sick.
He's kind of leading that this year. He was kind of doing it under Aaron the past couple years, but he's going to be the guy this year for that. So
nice.
He's great. I trust him.
Yeah.
He's a professional and fun to hang out with too. So
right. Dude, I love Levi.
Yeah. Shout out to Levi.
Yep.
So that'll be fun, and I don't know how it's going to be different. We'll do that one in the basement. Last year we had a fire pit out back, which was new.
Yeah. That's right.
Fire pit in the city.
Yeah.
We were like, do we need to have hot dogs on standby? Because I think you can cook over open fires in the city limits.
That's what I've always heard. Yeah.
We did. We definitely did. We were cooking.
Nice. Definitely happened. There was definitely cooking going on.
Yeah, I don't know. That basement's fun when it gets transformed and all lit up. And by that time of year, it's dark at 7 or 8 o'clock.
Right.
So it's and everybody's coming in costume.
Dude, it's such a good night. I look forward to that show every year, honestly.
I do too.
That's for the last however many years you guys have been doing it. I look forward to it every year now.
Yeah, so we we tried to get a mechanical bull last year,
really?
just for different shit to do for the October show, just to make it crazy. So who knows what ideas?
That's amazing.
But we talked to a guy and he wanted too much money, and we were like,
that's I'm sure probably
we don't really have money.
Yeah,
but Get Weird. I'm really excited because I hit up them first on the recommendation of a friend, and they've played OU's Halloween party, which is one of the biggest Halloween parties in the nation.
Really?
They've played Bonnaroo before. I think they've done a couple late night.
Yeah. And they're local?
Not anything main at Bonnaroo, but Columbus,
Mansfield-ish,
regional. Yeah.
Sick. That's cool.
So they're really good.
Yeah. That's exciting.
And they're going to be fun. They'll close out that night, and we will rage into the night.
Heck yeah.
Or rave into the night.
Rave into the night, yeah.
That'll be fun.
Dude, just thought about it. You should try and get Otherworld to come down and do a sponsored thing and kind of revamp the basement, real basic revamping of it. Have you ever been to Otherworld?
I've heard of it.
I've not actually been there yet, but I know they have raves and stuff like that. And
really?
They have raves there.
Interesting.
And it would be really interesting to do a Halloween theme,
I'm gonna write that down.
kind of get some Jason Kaufman, who does the set design at the Richland at the Renaissance.
Yep.
Yeah, see if they had any ideas to try and theme it out and transform the night into more of a Halloween.
Yeah.
Take it to those next levels with the space.
That would be cool.
Yeah, especially with Lee's light show.
Right.
Doing stuff like that, kind of actually installations in the space
That'd be really cool.
Dope,
we go to the Halloween pop-up shop at, the Spirit or whatever every year to just get some minor decorations and whatever things we can supplement. And we always see the big installations, the Halloween stuff. And we're like, man, that'd be cool to have have like some entrance where you walk through like a whatever,
dude, just like creepy trees or something like that with like some drop
bunch of
cloth
fog
crap and fog that you like actually walk through to get in there.
Right.
Yeah, dude. I feel like Jason Kaufman would have some really good cheap ideas that could be really sick.
Yeah,
or a Ren sponsorship type deal. You know,
if we're gonna pay someone, I'd rather pay someone local to build something than just buy something shitty from Spirit that is probably gonna break after one use or whatever.
Right. Some kid's gonna throw up on and.
Yeah, but the Halloween show is a big thing. I mean, it takes a minute to get that space ready.
Yeah.
We work with IdeaWorks to it's people store like cars down there, and there's like storage bays, and so it's like everybody
so
like the operations manager for IdeaWorks. You know, shout out to Karina. She I'm like, all right, here's the show date, and like people accommodate that and kind of move their stuff back.
Oh, that's cool.
You know, there's some stuff down there that we like wrap up and make sure is like not going to get broken, but it's really, you know, IdeaWorks has been great working with us for that because it's such a cool space. Like, it's
really
in the back alley. We open that garage door. You can stand outside and smoke cigarettes or whatever, and like still hear the music,
still be involved in the actual show, which is always the most annoying part of shows is people smoking, going outside, not being in the show.
Come back in now. Yeah, another band starting, and there's two people in here. You know,
it's like
but at the same time, I want people to feel comfortable and do what they want. But I mean, I would do all the shows down there. Yeah. If we could, but I think it's just logistically.
Well, especially knowing that there's somebody who actually has to like move a bunch of crap out of there, and like there's
people pay to like store their stuff down there. So we can't totally turn it into a permanent venue, but I think it makes it special to like. Have it down there once a year.
Yeah,
just
it makes it
kind of makes it different.
Yeah, it'd be like it's happening there every time. Right. It's not as cool.
Right. Right.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And we can throw a big party, and you know, Doc's is always great with like theming out like the guacamole coming out of the pumpkin. Yeah. Susan's awesome.
Yeah, dude, Doc's has been sponsoring it since the beginning.
Yeah,
right?
They're an OG.
Wow. Yep. That's amazing.
Yep, dude. Susan's amazing. Go eat sandwiches at Doc's Deli. It's the best local lunch spot.
Doc's rules, man.
You can get one of those like punch cards that, you know, get a free sandwich after 10. But yeah, Doc's is awesome. Great people, great food. Yeah. And they support local music. Yep. They were doing, I think that at one point they were doing some shows out on their little back patio.
Oh yeah. I never got to go there.
Susan really she supports music and arts and you know, great business.
Yeah. That just made me think of, there was a show that I went to before I lived here. I don't remember. It was over in that area. Anyway, I think Jonathan Haight played at it. I'll have to ask him about it. But yeah, dude. Doc's rules. Go see Doc's. But yeah, the Halloween show, man. You guys kill it with that one. All of them are great, but you know, the Halloween show is just a little more special. You know?
Yeah, it's our Sistine.
Yo, so what like future hopes? I was kind of, you know, I was thinking during this, like you know, the Phoenix Brewery, they sponsor you guys. Have you guys ever talked about doing like a Newsroom After Hours pop up in their little patio area?
We haven't.
Yeah.
We haven't.
Have you guys like what kind of hopes and dreams do you have for this? You know, to transform into, I guess, or evolve into. That's a better word.
You know, we've talked about doing like remote shows. We talked to the Ren about like doing one in the Black Box. We've talked about doing one out at OSU Mansfield.
Okay.
I mean, we're pretty much open to different ideas. I think the main thing is like we want to keep like growing it and trying different things, but staying core, like not like we want to keep it. I think it's fun how it is too. Yeah. So we don't want to like sacrifice too much for some crazy idea. Yeah. Like I think we like the idea of kind of keeping it here in the newsroom and at IdeaWorks, Richland Source. But you know, I just want to keep getting different bands. I think that's the music and the bands are ultimately what makes each show unique. For sure. Like if you know, whether it's hip hop or metal or you know, country or whatever, I want to try you know, doing different genres. I want to do some mixed genre shows that people don't expect. Yeah. And I want to like release a lineup that people get excited about every year.
Yeah.
I think the average person that doesn't really follow local music, it doesn't mean much, but for people in the scene, I want them to look at it and be like, well, that's a great lineup. I'd go to a couple of those shows where I want to hit all of them. And then of course, keep highlight, like finding newer bands, and then kind of like some of the same bands, like just keep doing what we can to support them and get their music out there, get their stream counts up, and write stories about them, help people get to know them a little bit more and listen to their music. And then, there's like the gimmicky stuff, like, bringing in a mechanical bull, or like having a fire pit, or just different things. But, we've talked about doing like a silent disco, like for EDM this year.
Yes.
So, but then there's like, everything's got a cost to it and stuff. So we want to keep it centered around like the music and like the local beer, food. It's like a collaboration of local artists, Richland source, and local businesses. That's kind of the core of it. Yeah. So we want to stick with the mission and just keep having fun with it too. We don't want it to, it's hard because I want to grow it and stuff, but I don't want it to feel like this is stressful. Yeah. And sometimes it is, but, it's mostly fun. But I think if we did it like 12 months out of the year, or even like 8 or 9 months out of the year, it would become like, all right, this is, it's kind of turning into a job, and it's turning into stressful. And I do also, I want to like get more sponsorships too. I do think there's like value in being a sponsor for After Hours. It's something that actually, there's newsrooms like across the country that have recognized this event like as something that's like, wow, that's really unique and cool, and like it's been inspiration for other newsrooms. It's been, not everybody knows stuff like this, but it's been talked about like nationally a little bit. Someone from Facebook came and did something on it a couple years ago, like cool. Coming out of the pandemic. It was like kind of the first show. And,
okay, I remember that.
The Christian Science Monitor did an article on Richland Source and kind of like news environments like in the Midwest and stuff, but they kind of led with like After Hours, and so like you can search like Newsroom After Hours Christian Science Monitor and read that article if you want. So it's gotten some like national recognition. Locally, like we don't have thousands of people coming to these shows, but it's a loyal audience. It's always somewhat packed here in Idea Works, and trying to do things like last year we did stream, like we're agreeing with the bands to do like the live tracks, like we put those out on streaming services now. So it's like, with a sponsor, like you could doing that, it's like kind of an artifact that's going to live on. Right. So there's some value in this of just like aligning yourself with business wise with like a younger audience, an artistic audience, and an entrepreneurial audience too. A lot of these people, again, like would be, I think Mechanic sponsored this for a couple years. They backed out this year. They're doing some new stuff. That's fine. Like a little bit bummed about it, but it's nothing against them. I think it was a cool thing for them, and they obviously like business loans are a service line for them, and so like there's an audience here that might be interested in that. Right. So it's bringing in more like sponsors and collaborators, and that's not for us to make money, but that's just for us to like, let's pay Lee a little bit more. And let's like, or bring in other things that like just having a budget for this. Like it'd be awesome to have like a $20,000 budget for Newsroom After Hours for the year. We could do, our budget's normally, a couple grand for this. And so like the more money we have dedicated towards it, the more we can do. So we'll kind of, if we can get some bigger sponsors, like I think that's definitely a big goal, like on the business side of it. But we just want to keep throwing like cool parties.
Entrepreneurs or philanthropists out there that like cool stuff, like music,
cool stuff,
and local music that is cool, very cool. Where are you at? hit us up.
Hit us up.
Hit up Zac.
Yes.
We need your help.
We may have reached out to some of them, and I think people are interested, but I mean, I understand there's a lot of small businesses. It's like, not everybody can just write that check. And
especially
it is somewhat of a donate. I mean, I think they're getting some advertising benefit out of it, but if you're going to go spend $5,000, you could probably get more conversion for your business with like Google ads or something than sponsoring this event. So I think there's some advertising value, but it's also, we're asking you to support something cool that is happening in Mansfield, and that, brings people from, the smaller regional area, but also sometimes like Cleveland, Columbus, and, we want it to be like a featured event in Mansfield, Final Friday is, and Shawshank is, and, it's not going to be that much of a tourist attraction, as far as major things, but, for indie bands and indie music fans around Ohio, why not? Drive an hour to come up for a free show and
hang out,
and drink free beer and eat free food and see some new bands.
Exactly.
And we've seen some of that, especially in the last couple of years. It feels like it's growing a little bit more.
Good.
So that's exciting.
Very exciting. And that's the hard part is getting people to recognize that originals are much better than covers. And
I know.
It just doesn't draw the same crowd because people like familiarity, and that's really the hard hill to climb.
It is.
But dude, getting show, and that, I think that's the other difficult thing is with Mansfield, because downtown is so small business oriented. There's not a lot of big companies that are here to actually put money into the city. And so finding those bigger companies and explaining to them like Gorman Rupp or Next Gen or those types of the massive companies that are doing really well but are Mansfield located, like convincing them like, yo, you should really put some money into the local arts, because that's what drives a local city, a local community. Like that culture is what progresses a city forward, getting them to be on board with that. Sometimes it's difficult to see that vision for the people like that. It's understandable, but it's,
because
necessary.
you've been part of the DIY music scene here for years, and I've been part of it for a while, but not as long as you and Jake and some other people, but it's like there's something special about it for sure. But it's just hard to explain that to explain that to some people. Right.
But they'll come around. I
think so.
There's a few of them that I know hang out around here anyway, so I think they'll get there eventually. Sick, man. Sick. Well, anything else that you want to shout out or
I don't know. Definitely I talked about our sponsors, but can't thank them enough. Doc's Deli, Phoenix Brewing Company, and Potent Studios for supporting us this year. Then, of course, to the bands, really excited. We definitely do what we can to, give them a platform. And to all the people that have come and support these shows year to year. I love you guys, and love seeing you guys come back and recognizing some of you. Don't be a stranger. So we hope you feel comfortable here. And it is always, sometimes it's kind of weird, like walking into an office. Like it's not a bar, it's not like a concert venue. So sometimes it kind of feels awkward, but. We don't want it to, we try to, free beer helps loosen people up a little bit, but,
really free beer,
we try to be welcoming. If you want to bring, if you want to Final Friday style and bring your folding chair and sit there for 2 hours, that's fine. Come as you are.
Tailgate out.
Let me know. Always let us know if you have any feedback or ideas too. Cause that's, we're open to that year to year.
Please share it with your family and friends. Let people know about this. If you like coming out,
bring a crew.
Please. We need,
especially for Halloween. Get a group costume, and it's that is more of a rager and a party, and it is. We want it to be more of the destination of your night. of course, we'll go out to the bars after that in costume and act like idiots. But
yeah, the internet's great, but word of mouth really builds a community.
Yep, especially in a small community. So
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I'm just really excited for this year. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, man, I'm stoked. This is gonna be a good year. It's gonna be a really good year.
I hope so.
Yeah, as always, man. I'm excited for that May 12th to see how it all kicks off.
Yep. Should be a good kickoff. A lot of energy. So be sure to come down May 12th. Doors open at 6:30. Shows start around 7. That's really for all the shows. For Halloween, we'll probably push it back a little bit, but the beer is free and it does go quickly. So, try to control yourself, pace yourself a little bit, save some for other people, but come and have fun. And, it's not like the beer's gone by 7:30, but sometimes by 8:30, it's dwindling. So, and, with more bands this year, we'll probably have some reserves on, ready to go. But regardless, whether you drink or not, like if you like local music and just hanging out with people, I think they're fun.
Yeah, definitely get there right at 6:30 start. Cruz Campo is going to bring the energy. These kids are wild, that's for sure.
Yep,
it's going to be
ready
night
to party.
Yeah, a bunch of high school party kids.
But they're all underage.
Yeah,
so we will not be serving them.
Yeah, party in the fun, wild side, not the substance side.
Right, exactly.
But yeah, sick. Thanks, Zac, for coming on.
Yeah, thanks, Tom.
This has been another episode of the Open Mic Podcast with me, Tom Hirst, brought to you by Richland Source, Newsroom After Hours, Potent Studios, Henry Screen Printing, and Two Cousins Pizza. Go check them out if you need any of their services. And Mansfield, Ohio rules, and you guys need to come out to this year's Newsroom After Hours. Please check it out. You can find it on richlandsource.com and Newsroom After Hours on Instagram. Yep. And we
got a Facebook group too. Facebook group.
Heck yeah.
I've been meaning to build a kind of its own section on richlandsource.com. Yeah. It's just like one of those things I haven't gotten around to, but hopefully one day we'll have a link for you /Newsroom After Hours and you can go there. But for now, we got a Facebook group and an Instagram is mainly, and we're on Twitter. I just got access to our Twitter account that I hadn't had for 2 years. So if you're on Twitter, check us out there as well. Newsroom After Hours.
Twitter's the place to be again.
Yeah, well, maybe.
Heck yeah, baby.
That's another. We'll save that for the next podcast.
Heck yeah, baby. Anyway, yeah. Thank you guys so very much. You guys have a wonderful weekend, and we'll talk to you later.
All right.